Well, hey guys, thanks so much for joining us again today. Today we have Lee and Sherry Patterson of relationshipreinvented.com, and they're back to tell us the secrets of how they keep their 18-year twin flame relationship, 9-year marriage together without going up in flames. So we actually have some questions, some really great questions that you guys sent in. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. If you would like your questions answered live, we may do a Zoom room. And if you would like your questions addressed here on the air, please send them to my email address, which is helenaroman1111@gmail.com. And I will also put a link in the description of this video or this podcast that you're listening to. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for sending in your questions. We have a lot of really great ones today. Some of the ones that we're addressing, I have them all queued up, have to do with what the DM, which is divine male, thinks when, oh, they're here, thinks when you're in separation. So let's go ahead. And Lee and Sherry Patterson are here with us. Hi, guys. Thanks so much for being here. Hi. Can you hear me? Okay, because I can't hear you.
How's that?
That is much better. I can hear you now, and I think everybody else is relieved too, because their questions, they're so excited to have their questions addressed on the air. So thank you guys for being here. We have Lee and Sherry Patterson of relationshipreinvented.com, and you can also send your questions to them. I will put a link in this video for their email address. You can send your questions to them. They also offer a free 30-minute consultation to take a look at your situation and see if you guys are a right fit. They can help you on your journey. So you want to get right into the questions? Let's dive in.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Perfect. Okay. So the first question, there is a little backstory.
Okay.
She says that she's known her DM, that's divine male, twin flame, for 5 years. They've been best friends for 3 years, and she's figured out that she's on the journey about 4 months ago. He is single and she's married, and they're trying to work through that kind of situation also. She said after she had her awakening, she realized that there were some issues in her marriage. Excuse me. She says that her twin is unawakened, but she goes back and forth between telling him how she truly feels about him. He knows that, you know, she obviously loves him, and vice versa, since they've told each other on a friendship level a number of times. So I guess that would kind of sound like I love you as a friend kind of a thing. And they do talk just about every day, but there's some obvious things that he's dealing with the running from the connection. And this has been going on for about the last 3 years. And it's complicated also, mostly because of her husband. So her questions are this: do you tell an unawakened twin flame how you feel, and what stage in the journey would you tell him? So let's start with that. Do you say anything?
I have some things. I do have some things. But to answer that particular question, I'm gonna say, gosh, it's hard to answer that particular question without
well, let's answer the question she's actually asked.
Right.
So when do you tell him? You don't.
Right.
Okay.
You don't. Because not until you look at why you made the choice to choose the person you married, and you're saying that there's things there. So your ability to have connection, you're not in already. So you can't really come out of that and then express how you really feel to somebody until you figure out why you didn't have that feeling when you got married.
So the things that he has to resolve, right. And her marriage and the complications with that has to be resolved.
Yes.
First, before that can, and not like religious things. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about someone who is she prepared to leave her marriage? Is that what she's wanting, or is she wanting to have affairs? I mean, there's a lot to be asked there.
And here's the way that it could happen if she's not careful. If she tells him that he's her twin flame, for example, and she's married when she tells him that, he's going to be looking for somebody just like what he's going to find when he looks up what twin flames are. He isn't going to come back there.
Yeah.
So she needs to address what it is that's happening in her marriage.
Okay.
She needs to make that a point first. And she needs to ask herself, is she going to be connected to herself if she's, this dumb thing came up. And
why does it do that?
I told you it's spirit.
Okay.
I'm telling you, me and spirit on this iPad, we have something together.
Yeah, and on my end it says sign in. Like I'm gonna click it. Do I need to sign in?
Sign in.
Yeah.
We're here. Can you hear us okay?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So let me clarify what I'm
saying. Spirit
is
interfering.
No. Spirit is allowed to connect to us. Yeah. So you have to have that part of the connection. But you will always get those messages that need to be heard twice. That thumb will kind of show up. So anyway, to go back to what I'm saying, if she looks at what she's done there and she tells herself she can't be connected any longer, and be in marriage, then she needs to resolve that. Then go this direction. Because right now what she's saying is, I'm okay having this over here and you over here, which and to get him permission to give that back to her when she gets free. I
gotcha.
So it's almost like you got to pay attention to what connection is going to do rather than paying attention to what you want to happen.
Yeah, that also answers her second question too. Does she wait for him to approach her at the right time? And who knows when that could be? So in order to make it the right time, is there anything that she could do?
Well, the journey's hard enough and complicated enough, right? Without all the stuff. So all the stuff needs to be, we've already established that. But what was the next part?
I would say,
what was the next part?
What should she do? If none of those things are an option, what should she do? I think is kind of what I'm understanding, right?
Yeah, what could she do to kind of speed things along? She wants to, and that's good advice, like address your marriage, handle what's going on in front of you. But she also wants to know, like, can she make anything happen faster with her twin flame as far as reaching union?
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you a little bit. In our journey, I tried multiple times to make things happen faster. Multiple times. I did multiple things. Horrible.
What'd you do?
Okay, I will say, because it's all in our journey. So I wanted to cohabitate. I wanted to hurry. I wanted to be in this relationship. That's it, right? The connection, I wasn't sure. I didn't know what that was, but I wanted this. I wanted this really bad. And the first time, what I did the first time was we found a home. We found a beautiful house. I wanted it. We wanted it. We wanted to be in it together. And we really didn't have the funds to do that. But I did find a checkbook that belonged to Lee from a long, long time ago. And I paid the deposit with one of his checks from a way closed out account.
Did he know?
Yeah.
I take it by his face. He was like,
Yeah, he did not know. We lived there for about 6-8 months. No, something like that, 6 or 8 months. It was lovely experience until it all blew up in my face and we ended up in court. Yeah, it was super bad. We ended up in court so I could take, financial responsibility for everything. And we ended up in separation. And there was another time that I just remember so many things, you know what I mean? Just trying to keep it together. There was another time when I had told him that I had made his car payment for him so we wouldn't stress over the weekend and we would have a good weekend and it was stress free. And it didn't work out that way. Trying to make things happen, trying to tell him when I found out about the connection, trying to, you know, let him know, hey, I think this is what this is. I was going about it all the wrong way. My solid advice to this person is, please, please, please don't try to do anything to move this along. Let the universe and spirit do what it needs to do to be able to, and follow your intuition, follow your soul. That's where don't follow your head or your heart, follow your soul. So you know what direction to go in, and spirit will move you in the right direction as long as you don't put your human hands on it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
So
and the one thing, the one part of that she's not saying, which I need to make sure that you understand about this, is she said to me, I need to get divorced. Before any of those things could occur, that had to happen. If you go into this wanting this connection and you're not saying anything about what's going on at home, you're already in the danger zone.
That makes sense.
You're already in the danger zone. And we had extensive talks. She shared what was going on. I met him. So it's not like, you know, there's a whole space there where what we're telling you is going to be what you need to do to stay connected to yourself, number one. Number two, you're not going to have that connection until you get to there anyway.
Right.
That's the big part. So I just wanted to make sure that part was in there, because that's the truth.
Yeah, that's important that she was authentic with you and went through everything with you, and you were very aware of the situation.
And I was able to give that back, because if it wouldn't have been there, we would have never had that space. See, the truth is the only thing that's going to bring you together. And it's not the truth you're going to read somewhere out there or a label of some kind. The truth is going to be in you and how you feel about that person, not what everybody else tells you this feeling is about.
And that brings me, that is a very good answer. That is very thorough. And I know that she's going to appreciate this, because this brings me to another question.
Oh,
it has to do with karma. How, if anything, can you get over, or maybe get through, or avoid altogether, karmic lessons with your twin flame? Or maybe even somebody in your life that's not your twin flame, like maybe a soulmate or something. Is there anything that a person can do to theoretically transmute that karma and make things easier on themselves and on everybody else?
Root camp.
Root camp.
Root camp.
That's true.
Oh, it's pretty brutal.
So let me,
go
ahead. I can give the simplified version of it. If you don't go back into those pains of what you carried throughout your past, you're going to be getting all the karma for it, or what we like to call trauma, because there's no difference between the two. So you don't see that the same pain you're in is the same pain you're getting. So what we help you see is why you're doing that. And then we sit in that feeling with you and ask you a bunch of questions. You kind of change your mind. It's like a whole other different experience. But you got to see that you got to find your yin and your yang.
Yeah.
Most people walk around stuck in one of the two, but they don't realize they're both.
So revisit the old core wounds so that you can address them, revisit the trauma, revisit the pain, stand in it and address it. And root camp is the way to go. So if anybody's wondering, what the heck's root camp? That sounds great. Where do I get that? Lee and Sherry, you can find their root camp available on their website. Again, it's relationshipreinvented.com. And if you're still unsure, if you're not sure if it's for you, they do offer that free, saying 3, you know, and like you said, the universe works in mysterious ways. 3 is a synchronicity. That's a big number with twin flames a lot of the time. free 30-minute session with Lee and Sherry that they can go ahead and talk with you and help you decide if root camp is right for you. And chances are it will be. We keep getting the synchronicities that it is.
I believe Sherry wanted to add.
Yeah, I wanted to add a little bit. On the bit of a spiritual side, is that, you know, karma's not a person or a physical thing, or karma is what you give, you receive. What you put out, you get back. And right, some of the times we don't realize that we're putting out things that we're putting out. Right. And it takes something like root camp to be like, yep, I do that.
It's okay. We can swear on this channel. It's fine.
And oh no. But
she just gave you permission to unlock the gate, let the Kraken out.
So
from Queen's Mary boxing to UFC.
Yeah, so I just I don't know. I just feel like if we're carrying so much even trauma, negativity from what we've been through in our lives, we're still going to project that. Even though we're healed from that. I haven't thought about that in years. We're still carrying that trauma. We're still carrying that. And it comes out. We don't realize that it comes out. Right. And it does.
Yeah. It comes out in all facets of our life.
Right. So, you know, it's breaking that is going in and breaking it within.
Breaking the internal cycles.
Yeah. And then, you know, you've got sort of, I don't want to say a clean slate, but you've got a healing slate. Your slate is healing, right? So it's not clean. It's just healing. And now connection and spirit and what all is going, whoa, now we get flooded, right? Because now we realize that, hey, let's not put out so much negative energy when we're talking, when we're speaking, and when we're interacting with people. It starts there, right? That's where it starts. And we're giving out good, positive, loving, kindness, peaceful energy, and that's what we receive back. Yeah. And it's, you know, we live in a world, so, and we're human, so things are going to happen, right? Flat tires happen, right? You change the tire and you go on, right? I mean, tragic things happen. That doesn't mean, or, you know, if your pet passes, or if a family member passes too soon or something, sometimes you feel like, well, that's my karma, and that's not it. You know, worldly things happen. Bad things don't always happen because, oh gosh, we didn't put the cart in the cart corral. You know what I mean? So it's not really as much. It's just very much energy. What we put out is what we get back.
That's true.
You murder people, you're probably going to get murdered.
Great.
You know, I mean, it just is. You get what you get.
That's true. So Courtney has a question.
Hi, Courtney.
Hey, Courtney. So she wants to know, she says, I can't get I think he's my twin flame off my mind. And every time I try to block his energy, I have a panic attack. She says, I know that I have the ability to choose not to feel this way, to choose not to have the panic attack. But it's like a cycle for her. She says that when she tries to focus on like her work tasks or whatever she needs to do, all that anxiety comes back. And whenever she tries to block him, it's like another panic attack. And so I think her question there is, can you block your twin flames energy, or at least protect? I feel like we can at least set healthy boundaries and maybe protect our energy so far as how we're feeling, so we can at least focus on our work task, you know. But she's really having a struggle when it comes to having some pretty severe anxiety attacks whenever she tries to separate herself from those twin flame thoughts. Is there anything that she can do to redirect her thoughts from her twin flame so that she's not experiencing his energy all the time? Because it's apparently an ongoing thing for her. And I can relate. I remember going through that kind of thing myself. It's not fun.
Fully accept what you're thinking.
Okay.
Because what she's doing by think about how much energy goes into blocking someone. So she's actually stabbing herself and not realizing it. So it's like, you're hurting you because of him. That makes him stay away from you. So what happens if you accept that you're thinking about him? What do you think that's going to do? Because what she's not doing is paying attention to the law of nature, which is what Sherry was just talking about. What you put out there is what you're going to get back, right?
Right.
So she's finding a way to block. She's actually rejecting her own thoughts about him, which the same thing is giving him permission to reject her.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So then she's probably feeling that pain.
Well, she also learned to do that somewhere. She learned how to put somebody she's connected to out of her mind and be okay. When was she ever really okay, though?
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good question for her, too.
There's a feeling on the inside that she's carrying, and she believes in herself that nobody will ever want to connect to her in that way. What if she's wrong?
Hopefully she is wrong.
You don't need hope for that.
Yeah,
because we spend so
of
much
course
time.
People want to connect with her, but I don't think she has very good self-esteem based on what she sent me. Her self-esteem's kind of low. She feels like she doesn't deserve the connection. It's not happening. She's stressed out by it, and she just can't get the thoughts of him out of her mind.
She's stressed out about being right about that. So it's not that she said the question that puts her all over the place or her self-esteem is low. She's putting this out there because she has already in her mind that she's being rejected. She doesn't see that is causing the rejection.
So she's in essence rejecting herself.
It's more than likely a very significant childhood wound that she's repeating, and is probably repeated in a lot of relationships with men already. Does that make sense?
It does. Did you hear that, Courtney?
All of her behaviors probably have never changed because that's what she believes, and she never really sat down with who rejected her to begin with. So there's an outlet and there's a pain in her that she doesn't want a male to get close to. Makes a lot of sense.
It does.
There's a billion combinations of the way I could say this. The issue is nobody's connecting that to have this connection.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
You have anything to add?
Perfect.
Oh, perfect.
Well, don't take
that
it
was
to that.
too stressful.
Don't take it to that level.
Yeah, but that gets stressful.
Says I was he'll go all day with it. You said I was perfect.
Yeah, Paisley wrote in and hi Paisley. She wants to know what specifically you and Sherry did during your separation. How did you handle it? She says, what did Lee and Sherry do when they were in separation? And just on a side note, they're going through, they have their journey up on their YouTube channel. Go to their YouTube channel. It will be linked in the description. You can watch their journey.
Like from when we met to now. Everything.
And she says, what was included in your inner work and how do I start my inner work? So she wants to work on herself. She wants to know how to start.
Root camp. However, I'm answering the question. Which separation? Because they were all different. But we'll start with the first one. Where it was a 2-year separation. I'll tell you what we did. I'll tell you what I did. I obsessed for maybe 6 months. Called his job, drove by his job, tried to look for him, tried to find him on social media, found him on dating sites, but I didn't, you know what I mean? Then I stopped doing that. And then I started doing me, and I started my meditation practice back up that I had given up. I started focusing on me again, and I was dating. I got married and had a child with somebody else.
So you really focused on you.
I focused on me, and as the universe would have it, right? How when I play it back, it's so universal, because I had 3 daughters. I have 3 daughters, and I was married for 13 years before, and I lost a son. My first pregnancy was a son, and I lost him, and so we had 3 daughters, and we found out that we could never have a son together. There was some type of abnormality where we couldn't have a healthy son. So after our 3rd daughter was born, we ended up going our separate ways and getting divorced. And I just always wanted a boy, and it was just in me, right? And during that separation, I married someone else, and when I had that ultrasound, I found out that I was having a son, right? I knew I was where I was supposed to be and doing what I was supposed to be doing. I knew that the universe had a big play in that, right? And it wasn't that I wasn't thinking of Lee, or that he didn't cross my mind all the time, because he did. But when that happened, when he did come through here, all I would do is just touch my chest and feel him. And that's all I needed to do. I didn't need to do anything. I didn't need to reach out to him. I didn't need to do anything else. I knew he was here. Yeah. I knew he was with me. I knew he was with me during all of that, right? There were other separations. We both started dating other people, right? He did not. We did not sit around for 2, 3, 7, 20 years, right? Waiting for somebody to choose us. We chose us. So we could choose us.
Did you just see that?
That's what happened earlier.
I don't know why.
Is somebody in here?
No.
It happens all the time in our Skype. It's so weird. But we really did. We had to go in here to be able to go in here, right? So there's that. But as far as going in and doing your work, right? Truth and vulnerability, those 2 things. You have to have the truth, and you have to be vulnerable enough to express it.
Are you sure you guys aren't doing that? Because
we're not.
My hands are here.
No.
Unless somebody hacked my computer, which would suck.
No,
which is weird.
It follows me through Zoom, and we're connected, so it's going to work both ways.
Alrighty. So in case it is Halloween, so in case anybody saw the thumbs up, Sherry and Lee are not doing it. I'm not doing it because I'm all the way back here. I don't have any.
Maybe this
is
the video will go viral, I think. Maybe that's what happens.
I don't know.
Maybe haunted ghosts, pay a visit to Helena and Sherry.
Sometimes the messages come through so strongly. You just know the winds of change.
Mm-hmm.
I went through hell, because the one thing I didn't want to have, I found. So the way that I could say this is, when I disappeared for 2 years, I disappeared because I was not enough for this. There was no way, and I was doing too much crap, and I didn't want to be. So I was going through it. I was doing cocaine, I was drinking, I was womanizing, I was doing whatever the hell I wanted. And the thing about it was, every time I talked to her, after I started to slowly come back, I kept feeling a pull to her. I didn't understand the pull until much later, like much, much later. But I get it now, because when she stopped after 6 months and started reconnecting things that were broken in her connection to her kids, and she was really trying to pull her kids in, she was trying to create a home environment, she was She was just going after connection for herself. Thing about that is she wanted to hear that kind of truth from me, but I didn't know how to do that yet. So the communication, like she said, the truth and vulnerability were all kind of just turning into a big ball because she was already building connection. And here I was trying to destroy my own connection to myself. So it's like you're on two opposite ends of the polarity, right? On a collision course towards each other for that explosion. But the explosion is when you both meet each other in your pain. Then the truth comes out, then your vulnerability comes out, and now you have connection, a connection that won't get ripped apart. But it requires all that. But not a lot of people get that part of it. You do have to go to those spaces, but you can't do it with the other person because some of those other spaces are what made you not feel whole anymore.
Right. I feel
Right.
like there's a void going on.
So it wasn't until I hit ground zero inside of my pain that I was completely vulnerable with her. But the beautiful part of that was she was waiting in that for me. She didn't try to leave it. Like she said, she kept putting her hand on her heart, which kept giving me this feeling that said, don't give up. See, it's like we're not paying attention to what we feel.
Yeah.
You're so focused on what everybody wants to put in your head. You're not focused on what you already have in your heart. It's a really, it's to us, it's we cry because we can't heal that here the way we want to.
That makes sense.
We do. We do. We get really teary-eyed about it because it's like everybody should have this.
That's right. And one of your objectives that you guys shared with me is that you're not trying to help people deal with separation. You're trying to help people end separation.
We're trying to get rid of the word help and we're trying to put the word heal in its place.
Yeah.
Because you can get help and that'll make you cope. But when have you ever gotten help and it made you heal?
Exactly.
So we want to change the word help into heal because we utilize help too much, but you could be in a burning building and screaming help and nobody ever finds you.
That's true.
We want to be the ones to walk to that burning building and find you.
And
because that's what this connection is. That's why it's a twin flame. Welcome to your burning building.
that's a great analogy because I think that's what a lot of people have been feeling like when they meet their twin flame or when they meet somebody who they think is their twin flame. They feel like they are literally walking through a burning building. They don't know which direction to go. They don't know if there's help at the end of the tunnel. They want to believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel, but it is a confusing maze. It is a maze for a lot of people. Now, we only have a few minutes left, so I would like to go over really quick, if it's okay, where everybody can find you. Because obviously maybe I accidentally created the kind of Zoom meeting where other people can pop in anonymously and just listen, which is fine. Hi, if you're here. But we've gotten some thumbs up that we didn't initiate and we don't know who did it. So obviously people are loving you and want to know where they can get into Root Camp. And could you tell us a little bit about your vulnerability class too?
Vulnerability classes tonight, right?
At 6 o'clock
Super
on
exciting.
Wednesdays. 6 o'clock on Wednesdays. And we have masculine and feminine. So what we've done is we've got right now, Sherry's got all the feminine and I've got all the masculine. And it doesn't matter for your physical, whatever you want to stand in is what we're taking, right? And then we're going to switch. I'm going to take the feminine, she's going to take the masculine, and then but what we're doing is really breaking down vulnerability and what it is, because a lot of people believe vulnerability is about you being hurt.
Right.
That's not vulnerability. Vulnerability is what you were born with. So we got to help you see the difference and experience the difference real time with a group of people. And then we're going to bring them all together.
And there's two that's with us together. So we've had, this is our third
You're doing your third.
This is our third class. So I'm with the feminine energies, and this is our third class tonight with them. And then Lee's going to be with the guys, or with the masculine energy, and we're going to be in different rooms. I mean, we're actually on different levels. I'm on the lower level, he's on the upper level, and then that way we can't interfere with each other's classes. And then next week we're all together, everybody, both classes, and Lee and I, we're all together. And then after that we'll be switching, so I'll be with the masculine energy and he'll be with the feminine energies, and then the very last class we'll be all together again. So we're really it's been a real emotional ride. We're really being vulnerable with one another. Last class we actually opened up and told the class something that we ever tell anybody, right? And I even started. So it took a lot to get that kind of stuff, to get that out, but it took being vulnerable to be able to do that.
That's the key to unlocking the love, the vulnerability.
The key to connection.
Yeah. I mean, if there's no communication, vulnerability, and truth, that's the trifecta right there.
Yeah.
And that's all got to be surrounding your pain. So that's the key, so we do the vulnerability class on Wednesdays at 6. The class we're at now, we're going into, this is the third, then we'll go into the fourth, but we're doing 8 classes like that.
And you can still get in if you're interested. You can still get in. We got
videos.
Catch the videos and then catch up and come on into class. Yeah.
But you'll be on the spot when you come in. Your vulnerability will be with you, because we got to get to you quick. And pull it right out. And that's not usually something, it's a beautiful experience, because then you realize how deep you can be in connection. But then you start to realize that you're more vulnerable with strangers than you are with the people you love.
And that's true. Have you ever sat next to somebody on an airplane and you tell your life story to this stranger, and this person's telling you, all of a sudden you're best man in their wedding, and you're like, what just happened? It's because there's nothing at risk. You don't have anything to risk. You can be vulnerable. You can be authentic. You can be yourself. You can be your humble self, and you're not going to be judged, because guess what? You don't know this guy sitting next to you. You're never going to see this lady again.
Right.
Me, on the other hand, I end up on a plane. I'm probably going to sit next to a 900-pound screaming baby that looks at me like I owe it food.
Yeah.
So, but yes, the vulnerability, that is the key. And that's what makes it easier in Lee and Sherry's class, their course. It's like a crash course, but you're going to get so much out of it, because you're going to be able to be vulnerable. No one is going to judge you. It is a non-judgmental space. You can get over those hurdles, and you can make great strides and achieve great milestones in a very short amount of time. So if you want to get to know more about Lee and Sherry, and even watch their journey from the beginning and learn more, you can check out their YouTube channel. I will link that in the description below. You can also check out their website, which will allow you to make the appointment for the vulnerability course and get your free 30-minute session with Lee and Sherry. That's relationshipreinvented.com. And if you'd like to email them, if you have any questions, it's relationshipreinvent@gmail.com. And here's my shameless plug. If you want to get to know me, look in the description. All about me's in there.
and me, you're so cute.
And me, yeah. Like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, all the listeners and Spirit who gave us a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. That tells us we know that we're doing something great. Lee and Sherry are doing something amazing for all the twin flames out there. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. And we hope to see you again very soon, perhaps a Zoom room or something where people can come in and ask their questions, because I've had a lot of people reach out to me asking, well, can we talk to them directly? Let's do
it.
Yeah, let's do it live. Relationshipreinvented.com. Check it out. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.